Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Tonight we're reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 2. And we didn't get all the weddings again.
Never. It's getting really irritating.
You know, I don't need 3 weeks.
Sorry,
3 weeks before we...
3
weeks before we get all the weddings. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, we do get two weddings, 2.5 weddings tonight. 2.5 weddings and a postponement.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start with the postponement?
I mean the couple period, or
yeah, let's start with that couple period.
Or what had happened was.
Let's start with the couple period. What has happened was. Well, before you do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, bell notification, so you don't miss any of our reviews. Make sure you do that for us. All right, let's go.
So we got Ben and Morgan.
Yes.
Not B-E-N. B-I-N-H.
B-I-N-H. Ben.
Ben and Morgan. And we see them going dress and tuxedo shopping.
Which should have been last week. But I'm off of that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get off my
I'm
gonna get off my soapbox.
Yeah, they really could have did all that together. But they go dress and tuxedo shopping, and the one thing that stuck out to me with Morgan is basically Morgan was like, you know, she hadn't thought about a dress, like never looked at dresses before, and she even shared that I didn't think I would get, like, I didn't ever picture getting married.
Yeah,
like she didn't even see that.
Which was weird to me. You know, you never picture getting married, but you end up on Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you never really thought about it, but why did you even apply for the show? Did you think thinking that it wasn't going to happen, thinking that it wasn't going to take place? I mean, to me, she doesn't seem like the girly girl anyway.
Right.
You know, she's in the Muay Thai. I think they talk about when she was trying her dress on. They were talking about her being into video games, doing all the extracurricular activities. So she is like a tomboy, per se. You know, I can see why she didn't think, but I think when you sign up for this show, you should start thinking about that, because there's a possibility that you could be one of the people chosen. Well,
I think her thing was, you know, she didn't think it would happen for her.
Right.
And so she never thought about, okay, what would I want my dress for anyway? So, you know, she starts looking for dresses, and her friends are on the couch talking, and like you said, she's into Muay Thai, she's into video gaming, and it's like, you know, they just want somebody that will accept her for her. What if he doesn't like, what if what we appreciate about her, he doesn't like? You know, how's that gonna work out? But
yeah, I mean, it wasn't much. I mean, Ben is just excited. He's happy to be married. He wants when she sees him that he will be drop dead, you know, handsome. that when she sees him, it's like, yeah, I need to match up my game or step my game up. So when she sees me, I make the very best impression I can make.
And so he can call his mom and tell his mom.
Oh yeah, call his mom. That's gonna be an issue, because I see like Ben is a mama's boy, right? He said his mom is the strongest person he knows. She does it. He seems like he's very attached, and I think we talked about that, or we learned about that in the matchmaking special and some of the other pre-shows, that he's very attached to his mom, very attached to his family, and that could be a potential problem for him and Morgan if he doesn't learn how to separate mom from his wife, right? Don't want to get biblical on people, but you leave your family and go to your wife, so you get to know her, and then you can come back to your family. But I think that may be an issue in the frugalness, the thriftiness, frugalness, and the being thrifty, and maybe also an issue for them. But they have bigger issues.
Because Morgan says she has to have a talk with Dr. Pepper. There's some things they need to go over. And she's like, I wonder what it is we got to go over. Like, you know, we got matched already. We got a wedding date set. Long story short.
Already got my dress picked out. Already got family coming in.
Long story short, Dr. Pepper tells Morgan that their wedding's going to have to be postponed because Ben tested positive for COVID.
And they want to make sure everyone, her family and friends, are safe. Want to make sure she's safe. Of course, you got to look out for the production crew. Look out for everybody. So Ben has COVID. We saw a little clip of Ben talking about he did everything he did to try to be safe. He's kind of bummed about this. But then Morgan started doing something. She started thinking, what if he has cold feet? What if he's lying? What if he's telling people that he has COVID but don't have COVID but don't want to get married? She like started going from like really worrying about what if this doesn't happen for me.
I was like, why would he lie about having COVID? Dr. Pepper's the one telling you.
Right.
And she was like, y'all can't even get married. He has to have a negative test. And then also to the point where, like, y'all are still going to have a honeymoon, but it is going to be shorter.
It's going to be shorter than everyone else's honeymoon. So, hopefully he tests negative quicker so they can get on the honeymoon. The other couple's going to be looking like, I think there's 4 couples.
Right.
I mean, we saw this with Houston when we saw Michaela and Zach, right? Mm-hmm. When Zach tested positive, but it was already on their honeymoon when Zach tested positive, and they was able to meet the other couples because they didn't want Michaela to, I'm about to say infestate, contact the other people. So, yeah.
Contact.
Oh, be around other people. Infect. There you go. You're the nurse. You're the nurse. Infect the other
people. So let's go to from that point. Okay, look, we'll go through the half. Let's do the so that was the postponement. Let's do the half. The half
a wedding.
Let's do the half. So that's Kristen and Mitch.
Yes.
And we see Kristen and Mitch going dress and tuxedo shopping. Kristen tells her friends, my dad still doesn't know.
I think this is so bummy.
He still doesn't know about the wedding. I'm going to tell him when he gets here. He's coming halfway across the country. And they were like, well, what does he know? It's like, he knows we're doing a matchmaking thing. And it's a filming, it's a special, but I'd rather tell him in person.
Yeah, and face to face, not on the phone. I'd rather tell him in person about what's going on.
And they're like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. As a father, I'll be hot. I'm sorry. I'll be real mad. I'll be upset about not knowing ahead of time. Even my 8-year-old was like, Dad, I'll tell you 2 weeks before. Like, why are you going to tell me 2 weeks before? But anyway, that's a hose.
As far as Mitch goes, his thing is he hasn't had, his last relationship was 5 to 6 years ago. Wow. And he was like, I really need to get over my commitment issues, and this is the way I'm kind of forcing myself out of the commitment issues. Like, you got to be into the process. Nah, that's
gotta be committed before then, bro.
Because we've seen a lot of people go into it and not commit.
Only one that we ever seen this work for has been Diana and Greg, because Diana didn't have a relationship for 10 years. Mm-hmm. She didn't have a relationship for 10 years, and then when her and Greg got together, it worked out for them, but she was committed to the process.
Yeah, but I said she didn't have any commitment issues. He has said several times he has commitment issues.
This is not going to work for him. When you have commitment issues, it's bad. You're marrying this person for life. It's not for 8 weeks, right? And I think you can't go into it looking at, I'm going to marry them just for 8 weeks. You have to go into this thing, this is going to be my life partner. And we're going to have to act like it's my life partner. We're going to have to work on this like my life partner. And you're going to have to treat the person like it's your life partner. And understand that we're going to have some ups and have some downs. But at the first sign of trouble or situation or circumstance, I can't bail.
Right.
Yeah,
he's been, that's how he's
That's his MO. His MO is like, nope, I don't like this, I'm going. Mm-hmm. Remind me of Johnny. Remember Johnny from Houston season? Johnny, every time Val did something wrong, Johnny was ready to leave. Mm-hmm.
So then we go to, obviously they found tuxedo and dress. They go to, it's the wedding day, and again, Kristen's sister's there with 2 of her friends, mm-hmm. and they're talking again like, does Dad come? Yeah, Dad's here. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me go back. So they were like, did you at least tell him, kind of dress for the occasion?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah. And so, she's there getting her hair done and everything with her sister and talking, and they were like, how did you imagine what he would look like? And she was like, no, not really, but I do like a brunette, and I wouldn't mind a bald man. And on the flip side, we see Mitch, which it looked like it was a shadow or a light across his head. Then it's like, oh no, those are bandages on his head. I think he said he hit himself in the head with a plank or
surfboard or something like that.
Yeah, and so he's got his own hairstylist coming in to cut his hair, but good gosh.
Which I thought was kind of, because it's his own hairstylist that's coming in, but he gets mad when she cuts his beard and talking about, I don't want it that way, I like it that way. If this is your own hairstylist, she should know how your beard would be cut or should be cut.
He was just going through.
He was going through. He was like a
Bridezilla.
Bridezilla. He was a diva.
A groomzilla.
He was yelling at his friends like, y'all need to stop talking to me, because every time you talk about it, I'm getting pissed. I'm getting more and more pissed. I don't wear my beard that short. I'm like, man, bro, it's his brother's there, and he was like, well, if you cut your hair down some more to make your beard, come out, and he was like, I don't want to hear it, I'm mad. I was like, oh wow. Yeah, he
turned into a real prick.
He eventually calmed down, but he was still mad about the beard.
No, he got mad about something else.
Yeah.
It was very rude. He was very rude about it. But
if that's how he handled conflict, their relationship is about to be over. If he handles conflict that way, or when he's getting moody, or he has a issue, a little bit of adversity, he's gonna have a rough time in this relationship. It's gonna be a very rough time. Now, even though Kristen look like she'll give it back to him, it's gonna be rough because he doesn't look like he does change well.
They were like, we're going to have to encourage him to be a gentleman or whatever. And then he needs to get his bow tie tied. And they're struggling tying a bow tie. He was like, get somebody in here that can tie my bow tie. Like, what are y'all doing?
If you say that's fast enough, you speak in tongues.
Anyway, so then we see Kristen. Her dad comes in and is like, oh, hey, Dad. She says she hasn't seen him since the holidays. What are you doing? Got to talk to you about something. It's going to take some time. And he was like, well, I'll be here till 8:30 tomorrow morning. Take all the time you need to talk. And so she was like, her thing is she's a daddy's girl. She really wants her dad's approval.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I wanted to tell you this in person. I got matched. I've been going through this matchmaking thing. I got matched. And the final thing is a legally binding marriage, from the match. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
And so, I'm getting married today. And so he was like, what way? Well, you're just not going to speed past that.
Right. He looked like, not even speed past, but I don't know him. That's what it.
Oh, no, I'm going to get that too.
Okay.
She says, I've never met him. I'll meet him at the altar, same as you. We're going to meet him at the same time.
Meet them together.
And, she was like, I'm trying something new. You know how bad I want to get married. You know what happened with me before. I'm going to try something new. And he was like, you're insane.
Yep.
You're insane. And, she was like she said before, I really want my dad's approval. And her thing was like, if my dad's not agreeable with it, it's like, gosh, I'll feel some type of way. Like, she didn't say she wasn't going to go through with it, but she was like, I feel some type of way. And so
Dad was like, I've been on trips with strangers. By the time I'm ready to go, and you getting ready to marry somebody who's a stranger, he was a little leery, but I think he's gonna, we don't see what he does. I think he's gonna go with the flow. I think he's gonna allow her to do her thing. If she's a daddy's girl, and he, like most men who are fathers of daughters, he let them carve their own path.
Yeah, she was like, I want to know if you'll walk me down the aisle, and we leave on him saying, I don't know.
It's going to happen. I don't think it's not going to happen. He's going to do it.
All right, so we got the postponement. We got the almost to the altar. Well, let's go to the actually made it down the altar.
Let's go back to one more. They made it to the altar, but they talked about, they had the reception. Let's go to that couple. The Alexis and, what's the boy's name?
Justin. That was just very quick.
It was very quick.
Alexis and Justin, that was quick. Yeah. So we see them, they're taking their pictures. And, just really having a good time taking pictures. Some of them were, like, so informal to me. But then some were like, oh, okay.
They look
nice together.
They look nice together.
They took some really, really nice pictures. They shared some kisses. during the time, and you know, they get to the reception.
She's talking about her neck hurting.
They had their first dance, and you know, she's looking up at him like, why would you do that? No. And he said, oh, let me come down to you. So he kind of stoops down. You know, it's like, she's like, my neck is hurting. And they have a conversation. It's like, you know, when's the last time you kissed somebody? And he was like, it's been about 1.5 years ago. And so he gives her the...
No, he didn't.
He gives her an Iris moment, but not with all of this, right? She made it one of these. Because he was like, yeah, it's been 1.5 years since I kissed somebody, and I've been celibate all that time. She was like, what? You've been celibate? And so she turns.
This is the hood moment of the night.
Her friend's bridesmaid.
To the whole pet buddy.
She said, no. She turned to them.
Yeah.
But she did not whisper it. She said, he's been celibate. He's celibate. And you see men like...
And you see the girl talking about, he's celibate. What?
I'm a virgin. Like, why did you say that out loud?
You
How
put that man's
embarrassing.
business out there like that. Now,
How
I don't think he didn't feel ashamed.
No.
He wasn't like, ooh, dang, she did that. But I felt bad for him because everybody shouldn't know my man's been celibate. She just like, look, he'll be trying to be celibate with me because I want some. She like, he gonna get it. Basically, like, he gonna get it to me. I'm gonna get it. That's what she was looking like, you know. So he was embarrassed. Hopefully, his celibacy ends that night on the honeymoon. We'll see.
I mean, they were very touchy-feely. They're feeling each other. You know, he was like, you know, I think she's pretty. You know, they feeling the sparks.
No, what he said was, I'm glowing, which I don't see too many men who say I'm glowing. He said he was glowing from his wet. Yes, he said glowing. But I'm just saying. But he was glowing for his wedding.
Next. But they took some nice pictures.
But yeah, she embarrassed my dude with the celibacy thing.
Alright. So then let's go to
Miguel and
Lindy and Miguel.
Lindy and Miguel.
Alright. So again, we see them go gown and tuxedo shopping. My husband said again we could have had them all do that last week.
All do that last week and have all the weddings this week.
We really could have, but
I'm writing my letter.
Anyway, so in her picking out her dresses, like, I don't know, maybe I want this, maybe I want that. She tried this one on, she tried that one on. And her friends was like, first of all, I think you overthinking a wedding dress, which leads them to the conversation is, we're concerned about her overthinking, period. You know, she has that problem. The fact that she's lived a sheltered life, you know, being a Seventh-day Adventist, and I don't know. I feel like they're kind of
making
it so much bigger than it is.
They're making it seem like it's a cult.
Yeah, and, I mean, my clinical partner in college, she was a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah, it's not that.
She was definitely not that tight with it. Only thing is, she ended up being my clinical partner because we had Friday and Saturday clinicals, so she couldn't go. No, we had Thursday and Friday. She couldn't go on Friday because Sabbath started at sundown to Saturday. So that was the biggest thing with her.
But they're making her.
But for her, they're making it real cultish.
Yeah, I mean,
real cultish.
You know, I think that was her brother she was talking to. Or the dumb man, talking about them not being able to do things.
No, that was her friend.
Her friend, not being able to, not to be able to do things that dance. All they could do was hug, the A-frame hug, like the church hug type hug. They couldn't they could hold hands, but then that was still too long. If you held hands too long, they just couldn't do a lot of different things. So there was her awkwardness and her social awkwardness is being tested here. Even though she's away from the Seventh-day Adventists, not practicing anymore. And she's gotten real loose with who she is and with her past relationships, they're still concerned. It's a big issue. Yeah.
For Miguel's friends, when they go looking for the tuxedo, it's like, we feel like because he wanted to be in a relationship so much, he's overlooked red flags in the past. And, looking at everybody else having somebody, he's like really been looking for his plus one. So I hope he doesn't go into this blind. And the funniest part is, like, you see him walk out in a tuxedo and it's like, is this a cut? And so he literally says, "Why y'all still talking to me like I'm not standing right here?"
Yeah.
I was like, they are having this conversation with me right
Why
here.
you standing right there? They didn't care.
No, I mean they weren't being nasty about it,
but I mean he's heard it before, so it's like it's not nothing that he hasn't heard.
right.
I mean they shared this information with him, so
Yeah. His friends tell him, don't shut down immediately if like she doesn't check all your boxes, and they're like, what about the Dungeons and Dragons thing? What if she's not really into it? He said, I'm going to have to see about it and figure it out, because quality time, I know that's my thing, and I know you have to do quality time, so that's something that I like to do. Hopefully, she can get with spending quality time with me because I'm her person, and, we all...
Hopefully she can get involved with Dungeons and Dragons. That we eventually can bring her in.
Yeah, or at least tolerate it, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that's what you have to do when you're married. Sometimes people marry a spouse that's not a sports person, but because you love that person, even if you don't know that much about sports or don't like it, at least you'll sit there and watch it,
Yes, you will. Thank you.
What? But I've been in sports. Why are you doing that?
But she wasn't a pro wrestling person.
That's not true.
You're a little.
That's not true. I watched wrestling. I just...
wasn't into it like I was. Or am.
Nah. And I'm still not.
You still woo at Ric Flair.
And I did have my airport bag. I ran into a WWE wrestler.
Yes.
In the airport, come back from cruise. But anyway, we had a nice little conversation. But anyway, yeah, so that's his thing. I hope she can get with that. And as far as Lindy's, I keep wanting to say Lindsay. Lindy's. Think about the Italian. Lindy's friends and her sister was like, you're gonna need somebody that can handle you and everything that comes with you, because we already know she's very talkative. Yes. She's goofy.
Real quirky.
Quirky. And they laughed. It was like, he's got to be able to deal with the Lindy experience, It was a, laugh with them. And then we go from there to her sitting down with the rest of her bridal party. So her mom's there, her sister, and then her brother. Her brother's going to walk her down the aisle. Yeah. Her male friend that was there before, and then another friend. And she says that her dad is not supportive of the process, and so he opted not to be at the wedding. He's not there.
Not there. So he doesn't. I mean, I figured one of her parents wouldn't be there, or even both. I thought both wouldn't be there because they wasn't. This wasn't the process they had for her. Mm-hmm. But mom showed up, and dad wasn't. Dad was the one that was like, you know what, not for me.
Mm-hmm. And the mom is, she's a little emotional, that we're at this point, and look at you in your dress and everything, and so. But they're excited for her. We see Miguel chatting with his sister Priscilla. Mm-hmm. She's like really excited for him, and gives him a hug or whatever, and just ready for him to walk down the aisle. So we do see him come down the aisle, and Lindy's family, when they see him, was like, "Oh, he's cute," And then he's like, "Where you at? Where you at, wifey? Where you at, babe? Come on, I'm ready to get this started. Where you at?" And so when she comes in with her brother, he smiles, and he's like, "Okay," and you can tell she's looking like, "Oh, okay." And when she gets down the aisle, like, she hugs him immediately. Yeah,
she grabs him up. And this is one of the first weddings, first out of this season, that the people actually touched before they do anything. Right. Everybody else was kind of standoffish, still had a big gap, but she actually embraced it, was like, yo, what? This is what I like. He looks cute, or he looks handsome. Let me go ahead and, grab up bae.
Mm-hmm. So, here we go, family and friends letters. Mm-hmm. About them. So her family and friends said, Lindy is the type to find beauty in everything. She looks on the bright side of things. And they was like, she's a doctor. And I was like, I thought she was, okay, but anyway. But then they say she's a physical therapist.
Right.
And
so she had a doctorate degree.
Yes. And so
still with her doctor,
in her you will find not just a wife, but a best friend. And so for Miguel, they were like, he's the missing puzzle piece that that will complete your puzzle, and he'll bring calmness to your chaos. And they share that he's a PhD in neuroscience, and she's like, oh wow. And he's the type of person that will make make things better.
Yeah.
That's the kind of personality he has. You about to say something?
Oh no, they left out the Dungeons and Dragons with this. I really thought they were gonna put the Dungeons and Dragons in this part here. I thought they were gonna do that, but they didn't. Which I thought about it afterwards. You know what? It's a good thing they didn't, because it allowed him to tell her.
Well, yeah, and
explain it in his words.
To me, I feel like his family and friends letter was like the most generic that I've heard in a long time. Yeah. You know,
their wedding vows was generic or simple.
Yeah, but I mean, his was real. Like, it didn't give anything outstanding. You know, usually in the other couple you'll see, you know, you throw some of your family and friends might throw you under the bus. Like, what's her face? Brianna and Vincent. It was, she's bossy.
She's bossy, yeah.
She's bossy. Or, you know, somebody else said they're this, or, you know, it was none of that with his. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't throw him in the bus. They just said he was. They didn't even talk about the poetry. None of that was in that letter.
It wasn't really revealing at all about who he is.
Maybe they don't really know him outside of Dungeons and Dragons.
But for the vows, I like that Lindy and Miguel did make a whole bunch of broken promises.
Yeah, they make.
I'm sorry,
you see all these guys who make broken promises, or I'll be there for you forever, and we'll cherish you, and regardless of what we go through,
I'm gonna always do this, and I'll never do that. Don't do that.
And decision day is like, nah, dog, I'm gone.
He did it the whole time we was together, or he didn't do this the whole time we was together.
Yeah.
But you know, she basically was like, you know, we'll have patience. We'll work as a team. We'll be there to support each other. For Miguel, he was like, you know, I feel like we have so much in common already, being that we're here, you know, both doing something crazy and going out of the norm. And so his ending thing was, I'm yours in all things, you know, like, we came into this together, this crazy experiment, and, you know,
and Lindy, Santiago, they said I do.
Yes, they did. And they shared a kiss, and they walked down the aisle, and, you know, of course, I forgot to say this. Of course, she got her Joseph Allen. Is it Joseph Allen or James Allen?
James Allen.
Her James Allen engagement ring beforehand. And so she was like, I'm here, you know, I got my ring, my engagement ring, and I'm waiting, you know, got my hot husband. Hey, so she likes the way he looks.
There's a nice twist that they're doing now by giving an engagement ring, because everybody else has started doing it on their own, you know. Speaking
of which,
so now they're doing it together.
I wonder if the couple that's getting divorced from last season, if he got that ring back.
Man, look, Noah ain't get that ring back. I'm going to tell you that now. We might do a video. Noah ain't get that ring back. I'm going to tell you that now. She's probably like, bump that. Sriracha probably got that.
So they're sitting down talking, and boom. He hits her with Dungeons and Dragons. He's got the little blue thing. I guess it's a special Dungeons and Dragon die. It's not square.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we was rolling this like, I think she's gonna be like this, or one like, and he was like, do you know anything about Dungeons and Dragons? She was like, I mean, I heard of it, no. And he was like, well, how about Lord of the Rings? She was like, yeah, and it's this and this, but he still didn't get into the fact that I'd be dressing up.
Or I'd be playing on a regular basis. Like I said, I played Dungeons and Dragons when I was a young kid, so.
I'm surprised I'm not surprised. She was like, I think it's cute.
Yes.
You know, that he's into Dungeons and Dragons, and he's kind of nerdy, and like, she likes that. I was like, okay. I didn't think she would have a problem with it. I think when he gets to the cosplay, she might be like, well, it's kind of
I don't think she have a problem with it unless it takes away from their marriage, where he can't balance the time between the two. I think that's when it becomes an issue, when he spends more time doing that than he is with her. You know, you got to have your own outlet. You know, some guys go to the gym. Some people will go shoot hoops with the boys, play basketball. Some people will go bowling or go to wrestling events, whatever case may be. He just happened to do Dungeons and Dragons, which, you know, but you got to have the balance, and you got to have to be able to do your own thing in marriages. You know, you got to have your own outlet. So it's good for him, and I think she will be open-minded to it.
So they have a conversation about the fact that she's a physical therapist, and she likes the fact that she can, you know, I work a lot, but I work a lot so then I can do my travel. I can take time off to travel. What is it that you do? So I am a neuroscientist, but I wanted to get out of that. And so now he was like, I'm kind of like a drug dealer. No, I'm a medical writer for a pharmaceutical company. And he works from home. And when she was like, she likes to travel, he was like, oh, good. Can I go along with you? Because as long as I got Wi-Fi, I can work. And she was like, oh, okay, cool.
For real.
So they really got along with that. And really, that's all we saw with them.
Yeah.
But they look like they hit it off. Their quirkiness will kind of go together. Hopefully, it'll work out. Because we have seen quirky couples that we thought would work that didn't. Like Amelia and Bennett. So I'm still mad.
They worked. They just didn't work after the show. So they worked during the show.
Out.
But they worked during the show just afterwards.
If it didn't last past that, it ain't work.
Okay. I'll give you that. It didn't work.
He came all the way to Virginia and just to go back.
Just to go back.
All right, and so last but not least, the other complete wedding that we got was Stasha and Nate.
Stasha and Nate. The hustler and the boss.
And so we see her, she's very nervous.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? The thing is, I'm going into this, I don't know who I'm marrying, and she didn't say I'm a control freak, but she was like, it's something that's out of my control. I'm giving up control.
She's a control freak.
Basically, she said, I'm a boss. I put myself through school.
Got 2 degrees.
With no student loans. I got 2 degrees. I got my investment properties that I do. I'm doing that. We see Nate on the other side talk about how he had his downfalls and how he picked himself back up and how he's
no longer sells hot merchandise or fake Gucci bags and fake Louis bags. He ain't no longer at the barbershop. Hustle man. Hey, look what I got in the bag. You ain't buying your Louis Vuittons out of the back of his trunk. Yeah, he says now he's thriving. And so he's excited and optimistic about the process and where they're going to be going. And so then we've already seen them pick tuxedo and the dress. So we see them getting ready for the wedding. Stasha's there with her mom and her friend. I didn't see it. Her sister had to be in her room because she came out with the bridesmaid stuff. But we really just see her mom as Stasha's getting her makeup put on and mom's getting her makeup put on. And her mom is just encouraging her, take your time to get to know him. Yeah. Don't let your fears get in the way. Just kind of take it as it comes. And, Stasha says, I plan to do that, but I also know that it's a way that I might feel like a wife should be. And so it depends on how he thinks a wife should be. And in trying to accommodate what he feels like a wife should be, I also don't want to lose myself or do some things that I don't expect to do. So that's going to be... She had a lot of worries. She had a lot of concerns because, again, I think mom said to one of the bridesmaids, you got to have to reverse engineer it to where you want to get to. Right. You're going to be able to talk as friends and communicate and be together and do all that, and then realize, oh, I'm married, but you're working it back up to marriage. So, I think that's one thing. It goes back to her losing control because there's a lot of narratives in here that you don't know, and a lot of variables that you don't know, and the nervousness is now making you ask 50 million questions. What if this and what if that, and instead of just enjoying the moment. And I guess that's for the TV purposes, but these are real people who are having moments like, I don't know if I really want to do this or not. So we see Nate talking to his groomsmen, and he was like, yeah, I feel like I've evolved to the point where now I'm comfortable enough to take this leap of faith and go in this direction. We see them give gifts to each other, and the crazy part is when she gets her gift, she's like, he gave me a Polaroid, like, dog, I gave him one. Yeah. And we see him getting his, like, what the heck, I gave her one. It's like, they're each other. Yeah, I think one of the bridesmaids said, like, you marry yourself, because even the note that he sent would be something like she would have said. Right. And so it's like, oh, dang, you marry yourself. And so he got a kick out of that as well, because he realized, this girl might probably like me. And then before we see Nate come in, we see him have a conversation with his dad. So his dad is there, and so he comes down the aisle, and he's looking for her. I think when he comes in, her side of the room was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they thought he was handsome. Okay.
And so when he finally does see her, he was like, oh, he looked real pleased. He sees her, is like, yeah. And when she gets down the aisle, he was like, you know, you're beautiful. And she was like, and you're handsome.
Mm-hmm. Nate, superficial Nate, as you called him.
I did, because he said a few things that I was like, good gosh. Really?
He's about to look though. Don't you want the person that when they come down the aisle that you have that look? I mean, how many we saw with Alyssa last season because Chris didn't have a look. She had checked out from like the time she walked down the aisle. So you want somebody that when he looks at her, he's like, you know what? Yeah, she's beautiful. Then because he would say, oh, you got a small waist. He grabbed her around the waist. He's just what I like. Just what I like.
But it almost sets you up just to be on the physical attraction before you even get to the other part. Yeah. Because even though they sat down and chatted or whatever, he still was talking about her looks. He didn't say nothing about her personality.
Yeah, because you remember in his note, his friends already said he was freaky.
Man, we ain't said that yet.
Oh, we'll get there though. Sorry. I'm jumped the gun.
So yeah, we hear the family and friends letter, and as far as Nate, they say, you know, there's never a dull moment with him. He's spontaneous and adventurous. He loves sunsets. And he was like, yeah, sunsets, that's my thing. She was like, okay, I can get with that. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, he's a freak in the sheets. And he was like, I can't believe y'all said that.
Yeah, they laughed. They laughed at that. Like, yo,
I can't believe you said that.
But she wasn't disgusted.
She wasn't, but she was also like, oh, wow.
It's a little too much.
Oh, wow. Okay. And he was like, I like that he didn't go, yep, I show him. He was like, why did y'all say that?
He played the humble role.
Why did y'all say that?
He knew.
But they were like, you know, but he's also a deep thinker. You know, he can sit here and have a whole conversation with you about aliens and the Mandela effect. He was like, yeah, it can get kind of weird. She was like, it's okay.
I'm weird too.
I can do it.
But she wasn't looking like she was into the whole Mandela effect and all those type of conversations.
They said that he can be a Devo. Yes. And she was like, a Devo. He was like, yeah, here again, concerned about appearances,
his fashion sense.
He always takes good care, you know, for how he looks or whatever. But they said he'll always take good care of you, and he loves hard, and he'll always have your back. Yeah. So they brought it back around, but yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a fashion show for a minute. I thought it was gonna be something where they just bounce off each other. But she was cool with it. So she was like, okay. Because she did make a comment. She made a slick comment. And I can't remember what the comment was, like, oh, you too, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Applying that this is what I like. This is where I'm at. To show their connection yet again, how they've been matched. Mm-hmm.
So Stasha's friends and family said that she's the true definition of an independent woman. Mm-hmm. Basically, she's a boss bee. Just know it. But she'll always have her eyes on you. Because she sleeps with her eyes open. He was like, for real, y'all playing, right? They were like, no. She sleeps with her eyes open.
No, that was scared of I knew a young lady that slept with her eyes open. And we was on a youth trip. This was when I was a teenager. And we thought she was dead. We really legitimately thought she was dead. Sitting there like that. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know, that's kind of scary. But, yeah, they were like, no, it's true. Yeah. But we see them share their vows. Stasha's like, you know, I'll never deviate from the path. You know, we'll stay by your side, honor, respect, and cherish. Her vows was really what the officiant basically told them later. For Nate, he was like, you know, this is a new chapter. You know, I'll be your rock and calm in the storm. I have faithful vision and always protect you and grow together, and we can be best friends in the end. So again, not a whole lot of broken promises. I like that. Yeah, I'm making all these daggone promises
that you know you ain't gonna keep. My man Zach.
Or not that you're not gonna keep, but
you ain't gonna fulfill. Unless you ain't gonna.
Yeah, you saying this beforehand, like I told you, my thing would be, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to be. Normally, I'm this kind of person, but you never know what can happen when the rubber meets the road.
Who knows what I do? Most of these people get this from Google. They Google some of that stuff. They ain't sitting there like.
Nah, they ain't Googling that. Yeah, all the broken promises.
Yeah, some of them, they Google the broken promises.
But Then we see them, you know, you may kiss your bride.
He goes in.
He goes in for a kiss. He didn't even ask her. Not that anything's wrong with it, but usually it's nice to say, you know, it's okay. Can I kiss you? And he just goes in for the kiss. And so, you know, we see them talking afterwards. What had you real nervous? He was like, the waiting part had me nervous. Yeah. Here he goes again. He made these comments. Superficial, like, she's the ideal woman for me. Again, you haven't even talked to her. We're just talking based on
looks.
She's this, like her hair, her eyes, her small waist, her shape. You know, he's just.
At least he's physically attractive, but you can see when they started conversing that he started to really get into what she was saying because he realized that there's much more to her than her beauty. He
asked her, "Do you find me attractive?" And she said, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, cool." And he didn't have to say that. It's obvious he thinks she's attractive.
Oh, hey, but I'm glad he asked her that because it took pressure off of him, right?
Yeah.
So he needed to know. He needed to know right then and there. Hey, she likes me. If Chris would have asked that question to Alyssa last season, maybe he got an answer. Wouldn't have to go through the 10 days.
She still wouldn't have said it. She wouldn't have said it.
You know, or if Paige would have asked Chris that situation, like, "Do you really like me?" I think there's a moment in this experiment and on this show that you do ask that person that when you.
But at the same time, when you ask that question, are you really ready for the answer? What if he be like, I mean, no.
I want to know. Like, I want to, because I want to know how to play the game. Nah, that was the game. I know how to respond, right? I know how to react in our marriage. I know how to handle it. I can't change my looks, but I can change the way that I take care of you. I can change my personality. I can change the way I embrace you. We always talk about Jamie, Otis, and Doug, right? We talk about Miles and Karen. So I can do those things. It doesn't have necessarily be the look, but it could be all the other tangible things that you can get from me. So.
She asked him, "Is he clean?" He says, "Well, I have little bad habits, but for the most part, I'm clean." And she was like, "Nah, I'm very clean. I'm to the point where
OCD.
Like my family and friends are like, you just live in a staged home. It's like, does anybody live there?
Yeah.
It doesn't even look lived in. Like your house is just for show." And he was like, "Oh, okay, wow, yeah, no, I'm not that.
No, I'm not that clean."
But then we see them taking pictures, and she's like, I got all the romantic feels. It's been a minute since I've been there, but I like that I feel that way. And that's when he makes the comment about having a small waist when they taking pictures, and he puts his arms around her or whatever. And she asked him later, "What was your first impression?" And he was like, "Well, first I was smiling, then I got excited, and I was very happy that they picked you for me." Like, okay,
he's working already, because I'm gonna say it this way: this will be the first couple to get it on.
Absolutely.
This will be the first couple to have sex.
I feel it.
Before they even get to the honeymoon. I think that marriage.
I think it's between them and Lindy, because we know Lindy don't care nothing about one night stand.
One night stand. Yeah, so he's a couple.
Yeah. He was like, I can feel her body language, it's radiating. Maybe it's me. I don't know if it's her, but it's like we're radiating, got these vibes and all the feels going on.
These vibes.
Yeah, it's obvious physical attraction there, so yeah, they'll
we'll see how
be the first.
Well, yeah, it'll be the first. We'll see how he handle her being the boss. I think they won't have an issue till they get back home. I think the honeymoon's gonna be great. I think all that's gonna be great for them. I think when they get back to the real world per se, that'd be an issue. They talked about their work schedule, what they do for a living. He talks about him being, being a hustler and working for a day trader. Yeah, day trading, and other little things that he does. She talked about her work and then building homes and her portfolio and selling houses and renting houses. And they both realized that they can work from home and they will be able to split the office and spend time with each other that way.
Yep.
So, we'll see. I'm glad they got married. I'm glad for the weddings that we did see. But again, they should have held, the other two could have happened in 2 hours. I don't need to see the dress again.
Well, at least the one.
Right, at least the one. I don't need to see the dress again. I don't need to see the tuxedo pick out. Or none of that stuff. I just wanted to see. But, all in all, let us know what you think about this episode of Married at First Sight. Leave a review, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. What couple do you like so far? Would any weddings stick out for you? Did the dresses stick out for you? Were the tuxedos, something that you may wear? So we talked about the wedding dresses and we talked about the tuxedos, and I don't know. They're going away from the traditional tux, and I'm not sure if I like that. I think the tux.
Well, no, Mitch wanted a
tux.
traditional 007 joint, so I think he was the only one so far.
And then the wedding dresses are, they're not the best I've seen in the seasons. They're okay though.
But I mean, they fit them. I would say
they fit them. But once again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification, and make sure you share this with someone else. Married at First Sight, season 15, episode number 2. We have 1.5 weddings to go.
Yes.
1.5 weddings to go.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.